What's up, y'all? Rob here, SquareWheels. It's been a minute, but I am back, and today I am installing the Aucar 13.6-inch Tesla-style screen. This is the Mark 5. It is touted to be direct competition for the Phoenix Auto Mark III, and I am going through the installation and documenting it for you today. Now this will likely be the first in a couple videos. This is just the installation today, and then I will cover a features overview in another video, so be sure to subscribe if this is something that you're interested in. Also, check out the link in the description. This unit is up for sale now, and there will be a coupon code in the description also to save you a couple bucks. Alright, so here I am in the interior of the Infiniti Q50. What I'm going to do today is just kind of walk you through how to install the Tesla style screen by Aucar. Now the strategy for this is going to be similar whether or not you got the Aucar Tesla screen or any of the other manufacturers. What we want to do is essentially remove all of the trim and the vents around the center console here, and we're going to want to remove everything that we're going to need to do in order to get rid of the bottom screen and the top fascia around the top screen. So to get it started, what we're doing is just pulling on this trim right here, and it's just held on with some metal clips. Once you give it a little tug, it should be able to remove it, and then the same thing on the other side. Once you've removed that leather trim piece, it exposes this screw over here, which you will want to remove. And as you start removing these screws, all this will start becoming a bit more flexible and a bit more accessible. Now, to fully remove this center console area and be able to get rid of this bottom screen, we're going to need to move our shifter back into the drive position and actually lift the top of the shift knob off. That's going to let us pull the center console. In order to do that, you just want to pull down the skirt of the shift boot and remove that metal pin, and that's going to let you pull the shift knob up. So for this step, I just got my set of needle nose pliers and I pulled that little metal pin out, and as I do it, you can see the shift knob pop up just a little bit. So that's how you know that it's free, and you can just lift the shift knob up. Now, as long as your car is in the accessory position, you should be able to move the shift knob back to the drive position, and you'll see how that'll be useful in just 1 second. If you're wondering, this kit does come with instructions, but you can tell that they are not written by an English speaker. This step tells you to take the cup holder on the loose.
Oh.
Alright, now that we've got that screw removed and we removed the shift knob, we should be able to get this center console area out. Just remember, and you can see that I didn't remember it here, you need to shift the shift knob into like drive or neutral just to have it standing straight up, and that will let you pull the cover for your center console out. There's going to be a few pins underneath here that you need to disconnect. They're the same sort of push pins where you just kind of push a little tab down and you can disconnect them. Don't necessarily worry about what's plugged into what. You can't plug them into the wrong spot, so it's kind of helpful there. Now, once you've lifted it up, yours is probably going to look a little different than mine because I've got these Smart Auto kits, which I cover in another video. As a part of this install, I'm removing the Smart Auto kits because the new Tesla screen basically does everything that the Smart Auto kits does and more. Okay, with that removed, we can keep moving along the side of the screens here. With all these screws removed, we can remove this vent. It's just an easy pull out. Just make sure you don't break anything. And same thing on the passenger side. Just a little pull and your vent comes out. Nice and easy. Now in doing that, again, you're going to keep exposing screws to make sure that you can remove all this stuff. You want to remove that. Try to left hand it. That top of my cup holder. Keeping all my screws. Okay, You'll see here there's another screw that's holding this lower unit in. You basically want to loosen all this stuff so you can get this facade off, get access behind this screen here, and there's some additional work that we're going to need to do for that too. Okay, now with that final screw removed, we can pull up on this bottom screen, and you'll see there's a couple tabs just holding this on up at the top, but now we've removed the bottom screen and the top fascia trim, and that's all we're going to need to remove in order to install the Tesla style screen. We're still going to need to get behind the top screen because there's some things from the Tesla screen that we'll need to plug in. But this is all that you're going to remove ultimately, and then the Tesla screen is going to go on top of all this. Okay, so once you've got all the tabs clear from this, you're going to want to remove the wiring from the back of this, and this wiring is going to end up plugging into the back of your Tesla screen. I'll show you how to do that, but basically to remove these, it's going to be the same sort of concept where you just push down on the pin and the entire connector just comes loose. Push down and the connector comes loose. That's it. So now your bottom screen is free. You're not going to need that anymore, so store it somewhere safe in case you ever want to go back to stock. Okay, so our next step is going to be to continue removing the top screen so we can get behind it. You'll see very clearly there's 4 screws that are holding it underneath. So just unscrew all those screws, and it's the same sort of concept. Once you remove these screws, it'll become very loose and you'll be able to pull it out. Now you may choose to do this a little differently. I pulled the screen out completely because I had to remove my Smart Auto Kit's piggyback. And no matter what, you're going to need to get back there in order to plug in. So I took the top screen out, and it really just kind of helped me see what plugs to what. So I'll show you that, but maybe using the information that I was able to find, maybe you won't need to fully remove the screen. That's up to you. Again, we got the same concept here. Once we've removed all the screws we need to, we've got several harnesses on the back where we just want to do the same concept. Push the pins down and remove the wiring harness. Don't worry about what's plugged into what here. You're not going to break anything by disconnecting it, and you can't plug the wrong thing into the wrong spot. It's all color coded, and all the harness connectors are sized with the right size connector and right size pin, so you can only plug it into where it needs to get plugged into. Alright, from this point I took the top screen as well as the Tesla unit into my lab. I'm not going to bore you with the whole unboxing, but I will say that Aucar did a great job with attention to detail and packaging this to make sure that it arrived safely in one piece, and it had all the parts I needed for the install. So 2 thumbs up to Aucar for that. Alright, so here we are in the lab. I am going to put down the screen face down just so I can see all the spots for the connection. And then I also have the OEM screen from my car, and I know there's some points that I'm going to need to connect, so I'm putting that down face down just so I can see, you know, when I pull out each of the wires from the kit from the Tesla screen, I can see exactly where they need to plug into. So here you'll see I've got the instructions from Aucar. I'm going to be honest, they were a bit difficult to read. You can tell, you know, English is not the native language, so I kind of had to take some liberties here and use the images to dictate the steps that I went through to get this assembled. Alright, this next harness here is for auxiliary video. So you're going to use this if you have any other video inputs like I don't know, like a Nintendo, Xbox, whatever, or front video. So you've got several inputs that you can display video on the Tesla screen. Alright, this next one looks like RCA preamp outputs. So you've got one for each channel, left, right, front, and rear, and subwoofer. So this one's going to plug into the back of the Tesla unit, and I think this is optional if you want to run this signal to your amps, you have the option to do that. I just left these dangling. Okay, this Aucar comes with a microphone as well as a little speaker, and this is the connector that you use to hook that up. I'm going to be honest, I don't really like the idea of a separate small speaker, so I didn't actually install this on my car, but if you want it, you know, this is where you plug it in and you can figure out a place to put it. This unit also came with a microphone, and this is what you're going to use for your hands-free phone calls as well as your hands-free voice assistant. Alright, this unit comes with a GPS antenna, and once you get it out of the pack, you're going to want to plug it in on this spot here. It's going to be a simple screw in. Okay, this one looks interesting. So you can tell from this one that it's going to be a piggyback harness. It's going to take the signal from your vehicle, and it's going to piggyback it and send it through to somewhere. So I know that this probably goes on some spot on my factory screen, and after sniffing around a little bit, I saw exactly where it goes. So you can see here, it's going to take the signal in, it's going to send it through to the top screen still, but it's also going to send that signal through to display some data on the Tesla screen. So I'm going to take the other end of this harness and plug it right to where it belongs on the Tesla screen. Alright, here we have yet another piggyback. So this tells me that it's going to plug into my factory screen again on this side, and this looks like a video. So I'm guessing that this is going to be the video for the backup camera. So again, plug it into the factory screen, and this other end will take the signal from the car and send the backup camera signal to the backup camera port on the Tesla screen. Boom, there we go. Alright, so not rocket science. I went through and checked all my work, made sure that everything was plugged in snugly. I saw that there were still some open ports, and I pretty much just assumed that anything that needed to be connected, I was going to plug in from those ports that I disconnected from the top screen. So I'm ready to take both of these units and install it back in the car and look at anything that's kind of hanging out of my dashboard and try to find a spot to plug it in. Alright, so now I am back in the car, and what I'm doing is working top to bottom. So I'm installing the top screen, I'm not screwing anything in, I'm just making all the connections that I disconnected, including those new piggyback harnesses that we just installed. So here you see we're taking the original cable that's kind of hanging out of the dash, connecting it to the piggyback, and then just working my way through. Just keep picking one of the wires that we already disconnected from the top screen and put it right back into the color-coded slot. Now I didn't have a camera, you know, squeezed in here so you can't really see it, but as I said, it's all color-coded and you can't put the pin in the wrong spot, so just make sure you put everything back exactly the way that it was, you know, when you were unplugging them. Now the whole reason we removed the center console was to access the USB ports in your glove box, kind of under where your elbow goes. So there's this another piggyback basically that connects to the USB cables under your glove box, and I'll show you how to get them in. You just want to unplug the factory signal, and then you're going to take the wire that Aucar provided, and it's another piggyback, so it's just going to sit on top of that signal, plug right into the factory wire, and then you're going to plug their piggyback right into the back of the USB port in your console, and then the other end of this cable is going to go right to your Tesla screen. Alright, so here's a good example. So I just popped the top screen in, I didn't screw anything in, but here we can see that there's some wire hanging out of the dash right here, and there's a perfect spot for it to plug in into the Tesla screen, so I'm going to make that happen. Alright, so we've got everything connected now. The unit should be wired, so what I did was put the car in accessory mode just to see and confirm that it powers on. And I actually went through all the testing just to make sure that the HVAC, all the radio, all the audio works, reverse camera. I just tested everything really quickly just to make sure that, once I button this back up, I'm going to actually be able to use my car and use the unit. And it turns out everything worked pretty well. Now this unit is a full Android tablet with App Store, so I got started on installing some apps just to see, how it performed and, what apps it accepted. I didn't run into any issues. Basically, it's full Android, so it can download and install any app from the App Store. I got YouTube on there. I got everything I need, but I'll cover all that, all the capabilities in a separate video. Alright, so once you've confirmed that the unit is working and everything is connected well, what you're going to want to do is reverse all your steps and button everything back up. So take all those screws, screw the top screen back in. The Tesla screen pairs up to all the screws that your bottom screen came out of, so everything should button up pretty tightly. Once I was all done, everything looked like an OEM fit. So if that didn't work out for you, just review the steps, retrace your steps. Everything should fit perfectly flush. Alright y'all, that's it. Install is complete. I am putting this unit through its paces now over the next week or so. I'm going to document all the features and functionality of it, but as I said before, the link to this unit is in the description, and I've got a limited time coupon code that I'm also putting in the description, so if you're interested in picking this up, go ahead and do it quickly. That coupon code will save you a couple bucks. That's it for the installation video. As usual, thanks for checking me out. If you got any value from this, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out the channel. Thanks y'all.